Yet another important tool for the basic editing of a layout is the text tool. It allows you to place text on the layout anywhere you want. So the text tool is up here. You simply click on it. It's a letter T. And when you click on it, and then when you move down into the layout area where you can actually place objects and things like that, it turns into an I-beam. And get used to this because this indicates that you've got the tool that you think you've got. Of course, with the arrow tool, it looks like an arrow. Then with the text tool, it looks like this. And other tools have different types of icons or mouses that show up when you get into the editable area. And all you have to do is click, and you can start typing. So we're going to type in form view. And if we make a mistake, it works just like a mini word processor. We just click back to where we want, type the letter we want, and it's in there. You have full word processing capabilities, the same capabilities you had from browse mode inside of a field data entry. You have the same capabilities in a text block here. And then once you're done typing, you click anywhere outside, and now it switches back to the arrow tool, and you get your anchors. Now you can move this as an object. Move it anywhere you want. You can also, with the anchor selected, change any of these settings here you want. So, for instance, it's on Helvetica right now. Let's go down and change it to Verdana. Now I'm choosing Verdana because Verdana is a great font for on-screen viewing. Very readable, was designed for on-screen. It's not really for printing. I don't use it for printing often. You can print with it, but I like it for on-screen viewing. It's very easy to view at smaller font sizes. Now you also have your menus up here. Of course, you can get to fonts here. The reason I like it, notice the difference here? You see that you have to scroll down to get to what you're selected on, right? You can't see it right away. We just pass this up here. But if we go to this menu, you'll see it's already scrolled down to where you want it. I much prefer using this font menu here. But sometimes you may want this one because you may want to start at the top. All depends on what you want to do. There's two ways to do this. So eventually we're going to change all these fields to Verdana. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do that right now? In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and select all of these objects at once. Okay, and then you'll see it's blank here because this is Verdana and this is Helvetica, so it doesn't know what to choose. And we'll just simply choose Verdana. And you can see that you can in fact even just see the bold is much easier to read here. In fact, you might not even need bold with Verdana. So every font has different characteristics. I normally wouldn't make these bold, but we'll leave them bold for right now. So let's go ahead and work with this. What we may want to do is make this a bigger font size. And again, we could go up to the Format menu and choose Size. There's all these different sizes. You can increase and decrease and custom. Pay special attention to the increase size and decrease size. On the Macintosh, it's Shift-Command greater than, or decrease size is Shift-Command less than. On Windows, you'll see a different command here. All you have to do is hold down the Control key, no Shift key, with the greater than or less than. So again, you could go over here and choose your font size here. Go, is that good? Well, it's really not the font size that you want. It's really what looks good on your layout. So if we go ahead and use a keyboard command, I find it much easier. You can go ahead and resize through the different font sizes. And when you get to one you like, you go, oh, that's perfect. You don't have to think about, well, let's try this or that or this. It takes a long time to go up to these menus. Just use that keyboard command. And then we're also going to underline it. And then we haven't talked much about parts yet, but we have a header part up here, a body part, and a footer part. And we need to make room in the header part so it's at the top here. The header is always at the top of the page. It's a little different in Form View and List View what the top of the page is, and we'll get into that later. But if you click and hold down on the header and drag it down a little bit, we'll have room to place this Form View in there. All you have to do is make sure you have the arrow tool, click and hold down on it, and you can move it wherever you want. Put it right in there, and now you have a nice place to see what layout this is. It's not just switching from these layouts and looking at this, because you may hide that status toolbar. If we go into browse mode, look at it, now we have something on the layout saying where are we at? We're in the form view, so it's easy to identify it. So it's a very common thing to do that. So looks like we have everything we want on here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it in browse mode. Go into browse mode. You see it looks pretty nice here. Now you may or may not be getting a little dialog when you go from layout mode to browse mode. If we go into preferences, and remember preferences on Windows is under the edit menu, and go to the layout tab, you'll see that I have this option to save layout changes automatically. Do not ask. If we uncheck that, and yours may already be unchecked, I'm going to recommend you do check it eventually, but if it's unchecked, leave it unchecked. If it's checked, uncheck it right now. And then we'll go back into layout mode. I'm going to make a small change here. Just type a letter and then delete it. Then go back to browse mode, and you'll see you get this message. And I really don't like this. I want to quickly go back between browse mode and layout mode to see what I'm doing. So I've checked this, which automatically checks the option inside of preferences for you. So we'll have to do save the first time here. And you'll see now in preferences, it's automatically checked there. And now when we go into layout mode, make a small change, and then go to browse mode, you'll see it doesn't ask you, it automatically saves. And I prefer that. If you're worried about messing up your layout, well, that's why that dialog is there. So you can certainly keep it where it asks you for whether you want to save it or not. It's up to you. It's a personal preference. I personally like it to not ask me because I'm going in and out very quickly. But maybe as you're starting out, you might want to have that just to make sure, because you can say don't save, and any change you made will not be saved.